Welcome everyone to the Temple of Limitless Light, the pathworking for the Temple of Tipareth. We have done all the tarot cards and Safra up to this point in the Tree of Life, and now we're ready to enter into Tipareth. This is quite an achievement. Very exciting to have made it this far in this process. We probably at least 20 videos, it seems like, or at least 15. So the way this process will work is we will give an introduction, and then we will create sacred space using by first grounding and centering with the Kabbalistic cross. This will be guided. A lesser banishing ritual of pentagram to create, the sacred space and the container for the ritual to happen in. Then we'll open the pathway to the Temple of Tipareth, and then we'll do the guided visualization. It comes from, written by the Ciceros and their wonderful book, Garden of Pomegranates. Highly recommend. Just to let you know, we are on Facebook, the Temple of Limitless Light. You can join. We'll put this in the text. So these sessions are our actual temple work, and there are people online joining us with it. And if you'd like to join in, all you have to do is join the temple, and you will get the notifications for when we do our various temple works. Usually Wednesdays, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. With that said, ready? Shall we get started?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Good. An introduction to Tipareth. Tipareth is a sixth Sepirot in the sphere of beauty and harmony. It's the center of balance on the tree of life, place of equilibrium that connects the higher levels of the tree with the lower levels. It is therefore an essential conduit for passing energy and information to all levels and back again. It is the sphere of mediation and reconciliation. It is also the sphere of healing, illumination, true peace, inner tranquility, mystical experience. Tipareth is the center of the so-called Christ consciousness, the mystical center of devotion and the higher self, the luminary of the sun, and the source of life and light is assigned to Tipareth.
The Sefer Yetzirah says, the sixth path is called the mediating intelligence because in it are multiplied the influxes of the emanations. For it causes that influence to flow in all the reservoirs of the blessings with which these themselves are united.
This again refers to Tipareth's position on the central pillar, mediating between the pillars of mercy and severity. As a mediator, Tipareth is also seen as a connecting link between the higher and lower states of being, the higher self and the lower self. This sphere is a two-way switch that both receives the influxes of the emanations from above and causes that influence to flow into all the reservoirs of the blessings. Tipareth's neutral position on the central pillar, together with its androgynous nature, allows these influences to combine and multiply and increase. The sixth sphere is outward manifestation of the higher and subtler Sephiroth, as well as the spiritual principle behind the lower and more manifest spheres.
The spiritual experience that takes place in Tipareth is the vision of the harmony of things. This is due to the fact that the higher self, or holy guardian angel, of every individual sits in Tipareth, referring again to Tipareth as the mirror of Kether, or the divine self. The goal of all spiritual experiences is the search for the light, and this is attained by devotion to the great work.
I'd also like to add the six tarot cards that are six, the four cards that are the sixes, get their influence from Tipareth. Mostly graphic. Right. So the incense we're burning for this is frankincense, appropriate to the path and pretty much always appropriate. All right. So to begin the ritual of the path work, we need to connect to our higher selves and ground. So just take a moment, deep, breathe, deep, breathe, breathe deeply from your abdomen. Just sink into your body and feel your own weight pressing down on your chair or on the floor. Just be present in the body. Deep breathing, not force. You ready? Visualize yourself growing larger and larger. Head moving up through the ceiling, past the clouds, past the moon, and into space. So large that the earth is but a small ball beneath your feet. Above your head, imagine a ball of pure brilliance. Reach up, touch the light, bring it down to your forehead, and vibrate. Bring the light down to your heart center, where you can silently say the name of your teacher, your higher self. Then bring the light down through the center of your being, past your feet, to the very core of the planet itself. So you're standing in a column of light and vibrate. The light up to your left shoulder. Visualize a ball of blue flame representing unconditional love and compassion. Light across to your right shoulder, visualizing a ball of blue flame representing your will. That's your arms. Leolam. Amen. Thou art kingdom, glory, power, forever and ever. Creating sacred space. We'll do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram in order to clear the space of negative energies and create the safe container for the work that we'll do next. Blah. Zar. Nine. Tome. Ekomaya. Da. Nanuteya. Before us, Raphael. Behind us, Gabriel. At our right hand, Mikael. At our left hand, Uriel. For around Around us flame the pentagrams, and within it shines a six-rayed star. Space has been sanctified. Opening of the portal to the gate, temple of Tipareth. I open the gates between worlds. O el vino de losa de ael dastriani odo eone. Antara kmi salahote dea azonizoda o de sicle laco antalo stelque o I noromi eo ire gogolote al kahilante do a amaus de yadna. Laneshi, do o Maro Anim, do al Butman, do al Onononas, do al Giahei. I open the gates between worlds. I open the path to Tipareth. That is visualization for Tipareth. Wearing the symbol of the Rose Cross on your breast, you enter the Temple of Malkuth, giving the appropriate signs. Wasting little time, Sandalphon takes you up to the path of Tau, to the Temple of Yesod. From there, the Archangel Gabriel takes you quickly up the 25th path of Samak.
You find yourself standing at the end of the blue path of Samek, facing the golden yellow door to the astral temple of Tipareth. Carved into this door is the Hebrew letter Tau, painted in violet. Giving the projection sign, you step through the door into Tipareth, and once inside, you give the sign of silence.
The Temple of Tipareth is a chamber with 6 sides. The walls of the room are covered with the gossamer veils of yellow. The ceiling is made of pure gold, displaying a central hexagram carved from topaz. The floor of the chamber is engraved with the hexagram as well. On each point of the hexagram is a large golden candlestick bearing a long tapered candle. The 6 smaller candle flames mirror the large central flame that sits atop of the golden altar in the middle of the temple. A 6-squared cross is centered on the altar, and the entire room is scented with frankincense.
Seeking to announce your presence and call forth the inhabitants of this Sepirot, you vibrate the divine name, Yehovah El and the name of the archangel, Raphael. And then you call on the order of angels known as the
A slight breeze stirs the candle flames in the veils in the east of the sanctuary. Materializing from a cloud of incense, an angelic figure faces you across the altar. It is a tall, slim, masculine being, youthful in appearance, with fair hair and eyes. He wears the robes of yellow, displaying a violet hexagram on the breast. Great wings of gold and violet feathers rest upon his slender shoulders. In his right hand he carries a lotus wand. Raphael, the healer of God, regards you with eyes that express his kindness and his strength. He addresses you.
You have entered the realm of God made manifest in the mind. By what symbol dost thou enter herein?
by the symbol of the rose cross, which I wear upon my breast.
The rose cross complements the six-squared cross of Tipareth, which is an opened-out form of the cube of matter. The Calvary cross is an image of the reconciler who descended into Malkuth and paved the way for the path of return, he who was unfolded in the light. The rose cross is a symbol of the way shower who remained unmanifest, maintaining a perfect pattern of what humanity should be, untouched by the corruption and imbalance. It is a worthy symbol for the realm of beauty.
Facing the archangel, across the golden altar, Raphael directs your attention to the temple flame burning brightly in a bowl carved from a yellow diamond. The flame flares suddenly, and the room around you becomes translucent. The sanctuary fades from view. It is replaced by a swirling mass of white clouds. Against the backdrop of clouds, an image comes into view. It is the tree of life. You hear the voice of Raphael as he recites the following prayer.
From thine hand, O Adonai, come all good. The characters of nature within thy fingers thou hast traced, but none can read them unless he hath been taught in thy school. Therefore, even as servants look unto the hands of their masters, and handmaids unto their mistresses, even so our eyes look unto thee, for thou alone art our help.
The vision of the tree of life draws you in. It seems to grow larger until all you see is the golden orb of Tipareth, which draws you in. There is a flash of golden light, and then your eyes adjust to your surroundings. You are standing in the middle of the ruins of a stone fortress. Standing on the ramparts above you are winged figures. They are dressed in yellow robes, covered by cloaks of purple. Each of them wears a crown upon their head. They surround you on all four sides.
One of their number descends from the stone wall and approaches you. Never have you seen a more regal-looking figure. He has long golden hair, a short, neatly trimmed beard, and eyes of the deepest blue. His purple cloak is garnished with ermine, and a jeweled cross hangs from his neck. He carries an air of royalty about him, and you could well imagine him holding court in some medieval palace. He speaks to you in a familiar voice, and you recognize him as the Archangel of Tipareth in his persona as Raphael Melechael, ruler of the angelic host of the sixth Sepirot. Raphael speaks.
We are the Melachim, the kings, the order of angels associated with the seer of Tipareth. We are the keepers of equilibrium in the universe. We are the lords of pivot, constantly forming strong centers around which all the systems and paradigms of the universe revolve. Everything in the cosmos exists because of the interplay between opposites, and we provide the nucleus around which the opposing forces dance eternally. Day and night, male and female, mercy and severity, these represent the continuous duality in nature. Those forces whose reconciliation is the key of life, and whose separation is evil and death. We strike the balance between these forces. Unbalanced power is the ebbing away of life. Unbalanced mercy is weakness and the fading out of the will. Unbalanced severity is cruelty and the barrenness of the mind. The middle way is the balance. For while the wheel revolves, the hub is still. Seek ever the center. Look from without to within.
Raphael continues. The Melachim are the providers of knowledge and experience. We supply the necessary connection to the many levels of the tree, from highest to lowest, We aid in the transmission of wisdom from the heights of Kether to the depths of Yesod, which reflects our influence to Malkuth. We facilitate true self-knowledge and self-understanding. To those who aspire to the great work, we provide unconditional love and respect. We bestow the gifts of harmony and self-esteem, and we lead initiates to the realization of their true calling in life. We are also healers, healing the wounds, both physical and spiritual, of humanity. We heal all afflictions and turn the experience of suffering into spiritual wisdom.
Raphael points to the rose cross symbol on your breast. The symbol of suffering is a symbol of strength, despite not the sadness and hate, not the suffering, for they are the initiators of the heart.
The Melachim and the old stone fortress they stand on fade from sight in a swirl of yellow mist. You find yourself in an underground chamber. It is a long, narrow room with a central aisle flanked on both sides by a broad raised bench. The ceiling is rounded and painted like the night sky, filled with stars and the constellations of the zodiac. The walls of the chamber are decorated with frescoes, reliefs, and statues of deities inside wall niches. One long band containing frescoes of the zodiacal signs extends from the northeast corner of the hall to the southwest corner. Another band of frescoes containing images of the planets extend from the northwest to the southeast. Both bands cross in the center of the ceiling. In the east, there is a large fresco depicting a figure holding a struggling bull. Surrounding this are smaller paintings, and you realize that you are inside ancient Roman Mithraeum, or sanctuary of Mithras, the Lord of Light, adored by the Roman soldiery from the Persians.
Mithras is a savior god, hailed by the Romans as a god of kings and a friend to humanity. His name is based on an Indo-European word meaning friend. Mithras reconciles between Ahura Mazda, the god of light, and Ahriman, the god of darkness. He maintains the balance between them. Fighting on the side of Ahura Mazda, Mithras makes certain that darkness does not overwhelm the light. He also reconciles between human beings, blinding them to remain true to their word and honor their responsibilities, oaths, and obligations. Mithras is a god of ethical conduct, truth, justice, and discipline, who bestows favors on the virtuous and punishments on the wicked. Yet he is a compassionate God, who forgives those who are truly repentant for their transgressions and failings. He is a Savior God because his sacrifice of the heavenly bull allows souls to be born into this world, and his final ascension into heaven shows humanity the way of soul's return through the seven spheres back to the eternal realm of the fixed stars.
Two skylights at either end of the chamber provide illumination. There are also torches embedded in the walls. The temple resembles a cave or crypt, for although Mithras is a god of light, light is better appreciated in the confines of darkness. The sanctuary symbolizes the universe as a whole. It is a miniature version of the cosmic egg. It reminds you of another legendary crypt, the tomb of Christian Rosenkreuz, or CRC, a seven-sided room with symbols covering each wall. Although the sun never shone in the tomb of CRC, it was illuminated by a higher sun. An inscription from the tomb of Christian Rosenkreuz comes to your mind. I have constructed this tomb for myself as a compendium of the universal unity.
You notice some of the paintings on the walls. One of them depicts the birth of Mithras from a rock, a sacred stone cut without hands from a mountain. The rock splits open in a blaze of fire and light. The naked child Mithras emerges from the stone, holding a dagger in one hand, sheaves of wheat in the other, symbols of severity and mercy. The birth of the child represents hope and the potential for the redemption of souls. Another painting shows Mithras firing an arrow at a rock, causing water to pour forth from the stone. Another painting shows Mithras as a king, as the cosmolector, or ruler of the cosmos. Helios, the sun god, kneels in subservience before him. From child to king, the heroic exploits of Mithras are documented upon the walls of the temple.
Walking to the east of the temple, you examine the fresco of Mithras sacrificing a bull. You notice that there is a small room hidden behind the painted wall. You enter the chamber, which is no bigger than a closet, and discover a ladder with 7 steps. Between the rungs of the ladder are images of the 7 planets, with Mercury at the bottom and Saturn at the top. At the top of the ladder, you see daylight. Ascending the ladder, you find yourself gazing at the ancient city of Rome, situated on 7 hills overlooking the Tiber River. Pulling yourself above ground, you see the magnificent architecture of the Romans, palaces, temples, and governmental buildings, all built on the Greek model.
Turning your attention to the sky above, you're astonished to see a celestial event from eons past, a vision that fills the sky of the city. It is the mighty god Mithra himself, astride the white bull of heaven. The god appears as a young man, wearing the tunic and trousers of a Persian soldier. He is a star-speckled Phrygian cap on his head, and his cape is a stellar vault of the sky. Rays of light emerge from his head like a halo as he holds a great bull down with one knee. You realize that you're witnessing a legendary event 2,000 years before the birth of Christ.
In very ancient times, the sign of Taurus ruled the skies for a millennium. The first day of spring, the vernal equinox, occurred when the sun was in the sign of Taurus. But after 2,000 years, the gods decided that a procession of the equinoxes was called for. The age of Taurus was commanded to give way to the age of Aries, when the vernal equinox would occur in the sign of the ram. Thus, every 2,000 years hence, the first day of spring would occur in a different sign of the zodiac, and no single astrological sign would be allowed to dominate the heavens indefinitely. The cycles of time would not be permitted to stagnate or fall out of balance, for the harmony of the universe was to be maintained.
Ahura Mazda, the god of light, chose his companion Mithras to slay the bull of heaven and to create the procession of the equinoxes. The heart of Mithras is heavy with regret, for he is fond of the noble animal. It is a great sacrifice for the god to slay the beast he loves so dearly. Carrying out his painful task, Mithras pins the mighty beast down with his knee and turns his head away as he plunges his sword into the shoulder of the bull. He does not want to see the creature die. The wounded animal lets out a brief bellow of pain before it drops its head in death. The bull's blood pours out and forms the course of the Milky Way. This is a starry path that is traversed by newborn souls as they enter into the world. It is also the celestial pathway that souls must travel back to the eternal source of the universe. The spilt blood becomes the pathway of rebirth and salvation.
The vision of Mithras and the bull fades from view. and it's replaced by the starry image of the Milky Way against the vast backdrop of space. As you gaze on this celestial scene, you hear the voice of Mithras echoing through the cosmos.
I am Mithras, Dia Sol Invectus. Mithras, god of the unconquered sun, behind Helios, the conquered sun. I am the sun beyond the sun. I am the cosmos creator, ruler of the universe. I am the Logos, virgin-born wisdom, the holy word, most glorious, born of a stone cut without hands, son of the Most High, God of kings, and friend to the righteous. I am the mediator between the two powers of good and evil, light and darkness, and I am the Lord of the contract, the sacred trust, upholding all oaths and obligations. I am a God of generation, and I prepare the way for immortality and the transmutation of rebirth by sacrifice, by shedding the eternally giving blood. I am the symbol of the living God beyond decay. I am the deathless spirit, the uncorruptible holy breath, which proclaims the oracle, the soul of the universe.
I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, which is and which was and which is to become, the Almighty. I am the transcendent good. Verily, my initiates are born out of the state of birth and death that giveth birth to mortal lives. Set free, they pass to the state transcending birth, as I have established it according to what I have ordained and made the mystery.
The voice of the invincible sun continues. This sphere is the heart and the center of the tree of life, the halfway point between the one ultimate unity and the countless diversity of the mundane world. Tipareth is the midpoint between the human and the divine, between the individual self and the universal self. The sixth Sephirah is a gate between the personal and the infinite, between the child and the king. All savior gods are modeled for self-realization. They are archetypal beings who have made the transition from the individual to the infinite and have opened the way up pathways between the highest and the lower levels of the self. They provide a gateway for others to do the same.
And this gateway is the door to spiritual rebirth, when all ignorance has been driven out. The torments of darkness have flown away with rushing wings. When a person is born again, it is no longer the body of 3 dimensions that he perceives, but the incorporeal. He is born again in mind. Remember that things divine are not attained by mortals who understand the body alone, for only those who are lightly armed can attain the summit.
Beware the vice of spiritual pride. Study well great arcanum of proper equilibrium of severity and mercy, for either unbalanced is not good. Unbalanced severity is cruelty and oppression. Unbalanced mercy is but weakness and would permit evil to exist unchecked, thus making itself the accomplice of that evil.
Do not fall into the trap of religious fanaticism. Insights gained from your own personal rebirth are intended for you alone. They are not to be forced on others, for such sacred experiences become the toxic fruits of one's own ego when shoved down the throat of another who has not experienced the same for himself. Remember that the truly wise person is but little in his own eyes, however great in his attainments, and that even the highest intellectual achievements are as nothing in the eyes of the Lord of the universe, for he looketh at the heart.
The vision of the Milky Way disappears, and you are once again looking out over the buildings and the hills of Rome. On a nearby hillside, you see something you didn't notice before. Someone has carefully erected a small wooden cross, the emblem of another savior god that has taken up residence in Rome. The new mystery religions of transcendence and resurrection are gaining popularity in the ancient world. You have little time to ponder this fact, for in a flash of light, the scene vanishes.
You find yourself once again in the astral temple of Tipareth, facing the archangel Raphael across the altar. No longer dressed in the regalia of a king, but in a simple yellow robe, Raphael greets you with a tender pat on the shoulder. He gives you a few moments to adjust to your surroundings. You thank the Archangel of Healing for this glimpse of the mysteries of Tipareth.
You quickly return, following the blue path of Samek from Tipareth to Yesod, thus descending the path of Tau to the Temple of Malkuth, where Sandalpon greets you warmly. Facing the portal from which you first entered the start of your journey, you give the projection sign and pass through it. On the other side, you give the sign of silence. The path of return. I open the gates between worlds. I open the path of return. We shall come forth by day. Uriel, we thank you for your grounding, inner contemplation. Gabriel, we thank you for the ecstatic states you lift us to. Michael, we thank you for your protection and illumination. And Raphael, we thank you for your education, equilibrium, and healing.
May the merit of the work that we have done here today benefit all living beings.
Rite is complete. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to continue your meditative process. See you in the new year with new adventures.